Okay, so here we have 3 rulers over here with these markings over here. So that's 0 to 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, and so on. With the smaller markings marking millimeters as 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, 4, 5, and so on. Now to measure a box, or rather a side of a box using a ruler, all you got to do is align both the object and the ruler side by side and then start counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There you go, that's 7 centimeters. That's the length of the side of the box, 7 centimeters. To measure the volume of a box using a ruler, it's also pretty simple. You got to measure 3 things this time along. There's the length, breadth, and the height. The vertical side is the height, obviously. So length, breadth, and height. L into B into H, giving us the volume. In our case, all 3 sides are 7 centimeters, so 7 into 7 into 7 gives us 343 centimeters. But since it's a volume, we must write centimeter cube and not just 343 centimeters. So it's 343 centimeters cubed. So L into B into H, giving us volume. Now to measure a liquid, you can use a measuring cylinder right here, like this one. You just pour in the liquid and then you read off the markings over here, so the text. But one thing to keep in mind is to read off the meniscus point. This thing over here, this point, the blue one, the blue line marks the meniscus point, not the red point. The one with the higher level, that's not what you should be reading. You should be reading the lower point, the point marked by the blue line over here, okay? So that means, in our case, the volume of the liquid is 12 milliliters. It's 12 ml, not 12.5. A cool way to measure the volume of an irregular shaped object is to simply pour some liquid in a measuring container and then read the marking over there. So in our case, it's 9 centimeters cubed, or simply 9 ml. And then you just gently drop in the object and then reread it. So now it's 11 ml. So 11 minus 9, and that gives us 2 ml. So the volume of this object is 2 ml, or better yet, 2 centimeters cubed. To measure a time interval, you can use a digital watch or digital clock. And you can also use an analog watch or an analog clock. Now to start measuring, all you got to do is you start the timer from 0, you wait till your interval is done, and when you want to stop, you just stop. In our case, it gives us 35 seconds, so that's our time. Okay, one last thing, it's always important to take averages to get a better and accurate answer. So instead of just measuring the thickness of a single sheet, it's better if we measure the thickness of multiple sheets and then get an average out of them. So in our case, we've got 16 sheets, and then we measure them, and let's say we get 40 millimeters as our thickness. So we divide the total thickness of the sheets, in our case 40 millimeters, by the number of sheets, 16 sheets, and then we get the average thickness of a single sheet. So in our case, that would be 2.5 millimeters of a single sheet. Here's another example. So instead of just measuring a single oscillation, which is from A to C and then back to A, that's one oscillation, okay? Don't confuse it with just one swing. It's got to swing back to A. So let's say we measure 10 oscillations, and in our case, let's say it takes 20 seconds for 10 oscillations to occur. So we divide total time, which is 20 seconds, by the number of oscillations, which is 10, and then we get our average period of an oscillation, which in our case would be 2 seconds.